At some point, this stops being about your manifestation, and it quietly turns into something else. You start identifying as someone who manifests, someone who understands the manifesting state, someone who is doing it right, and it feels like progress. But something about it starts to feel off. Not wrong, just heavier than it should be. You notice you're thinking about the manifesting state more than you used to. You notice you're aware of yourself. Being in it, you notice you're subtly checking. Am I still aligned? Am I still in the right state? Am I doing this correctly? And from the outside, it looks like discipline. But internally, it feels like you're maintaining something. Most people don't catch this shift because it hides inside something that looks like growth. But what actually happened is this. You didn't just enter the manifesting state. You built an identity around it. And when the manifesting state becomes your personality, you're no longer just being. You're performing. Quietly, subtly, but constantly. This is where things start to slow down. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because attention moved. Instead of living from the manifesting state, you're now observing yourself in the manifesting state. That difference is small, but it changes everything. Because the manifesting state is not something you maintain. It's something you fall into when you stop holding yourself together. The moment you start thinking, I'm someone who manifests, you've already stepped slightly outside of it. Now you're aware of yourself. Now you're managing your reactions. Now you're trying to stay consistent. And this is why things can feel like they plateau. Not because your manifestation stopped, but because your attention turned inward in the wrong way. Instead of living as the version of you who already has your manifestation, you became someone trying to be that version. And that gap, that's where the friction comes from. This is also why things felt easier before you labeled it, before you tried to understand it, before you started doing it right. Because back then, you weren't watching yourself, you were just being. The manifesting state doesn't need an identity. It doesn't need reinforcement. It doesn't need you to carry it. And the moment you stop trying to be someone who manifests, you drop back into the version of you who already is. There's nothing to fix here, nothing to rebuild, nothing to correct. Just notice where you've been holding the idea of yourself together. And let that go, because the manifesting state was never something you had to become. It's what's left when you stop trying to be, subscribe, and enter your manifesting state.